Well, this is a big day, and of course, the presidential race is getting a lot of attention. Polls will close in about an hour and a half. Joining us for a conversation about how Election Day 2024 is going so far, Dr. Ned Rinalducci, WSAV political analyst and chair of social sciences at Miami Dade College. Dr. Rinalducci, thank you so much for being with us. We all know that all eyes will be on Georgia tonight as both presidential candidates. They've invested a lot of time here because the race comes down to a handful of swing states, which Georgia is one of them.
Yes, as you said, it's this is an election that will be decided by literally these swing states. The Electoral College requires 270 votes to get one candidate over the top, and Georgia is one of those handful of states, as you said, that could go either way. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Nevada, Arizona, and Pennsylvania is probably the biggest and most important of all of those states, but Georgia is absolutely one of them as well.
And I want to talk to you about this now. Donald Trump already casting a doubt on the election, saying that before the votes can even be counted. What are your thoughts?
That's been a strategy of the Trump campaign for a while. Sow the seeds of doubt early, and then when all the lawsuits hit after the election, and we know that we may not have a winner declared by morning. There will be some states, particularly states like Arizona and Nevada, that may take longer to count their votes. And as we're waiting for votes to be counted, it creates an atmosphere where if those seeds of doubt have already been planted, people start wondering what's going on. This isn't what usually happens. And so we can expect many challenges, particularly in the swing states, if things do not go the way that Trump wants them tonight.
Well, let's have a refresher course of sorts right now, Dr. Rinalducci. Let's talk about electoral vote versus the popular vote. Of course, the popular vote does not guarantee a winner in the election. How many electoral votes are needed to become the president?
270 is the total. And yes, as you said, the popular vote does not determine our president. The last time Trump won the presidency, he did not win the popular vote. And there's a very good chance tonight that Kamala Harris could win the popular vote and still lose the election. That's yet to be seen, and it's all very much up in the air. But trying to get to that number of 270 is why these, we know that states like California and New York all those electoral votes are going to the Democratic side. States like Texas and Alaska, Wyoming are all going to the Republican side, most of the deep South states as well. So it's just this handful of 6 states that we're really looking at that are going to decide. That's going to take either one candidate or the other to that 270.
Well, Dr. Rinalducci, let's talk a little bit about those local races because there are some big local races. How important are the down the ballot races?
It's an interesting year for Savannah's local elections. For the most part, most of the incumbents look relatively safe. Now, certainly the top of the ticket absolutely can affects those down ballot races. For example, in a race like district attorney, where there is a formidable opponent challenging the district attorney, if Kamala Harris gets a big turnout for Chatham County, which is expected, that can translate into an advantage for Shalina Jones, the district attorney.
And final question for you this hour: how important in terms of the turnout? We know we've had millions upon millions to go for early voting. In terms of indication, any idea if we'll see a bigger turnout this time around compared to 2020?
Well, we've already had 4 million early votes in Georgia, and we expect at least another million or so to come in today. So we will surpass what we did in 2020, undoubtedly. And the early voting is a huge indicator of interest, and it's also what's going to allow Georgia to get its results in faster than some other states. So while all eyes will be on these swing states, expect Georgia to be looked at very quickly because Georgia may have its results much quicker than some of those other swing states everyone's going to be watching.
Well, Dr. Rinalducci, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Look forward to having you join us for analysis throughout the night tonight.